All right. Welcome, everybody, to our Monday Soulful Maintenance Talk prescription. So, today we have Debbie Wilson with us. So, how to introduce her? We met, let's say how we met, Debbie.
Yeah.
We met into a membership with Erica Chilkley, like during COVID. And we've been together doing embodiment practice and juggling our difficult life for quite a long time, aren't we?
Yeah, certainly, yes.
And she is a play therapist. And also she ran an amazing group, super supportive for parents with the kids with anxiety. And so it's a big pleasure for me having you here today.
Oh, it's so exciting to be here. It's great. Thank you for inviting me.
And I just want to really, like, this group is to help women dealing with chronic stress and like embracing rest. So I thought that the anxiety topic that you actually work with the kids and parents was super interesting, getting another angle.
Yeah.
But before to get into the how you work with anxiety and kids, I want to just how this all came together.
Yeah. Well, it actually started, I guess, when we were on our course with Erica. I was going through a divorce at the time. And so that course came at just the right time. You know, being in COVID, trying to struggle through a divorce, felt quite lonely. But this group of wonderful women that we met on that course were hugely supportive, all working through their own journeys. And so I started to offer, well, I suppose I started to research self-care and looking at stuff for me, first of all, and caring for myself. And then I started to think, what can I offer to other play therapists? So all came about from supporting other play therapists, first of all, with their anxiety. And then that just grew into actually, obviously, after the pandemic, there was a huge number of children that were feeling extremely anxious and a huge number of mums that were coming saying they wanted support for their children. And I couldn't offer support to every single child on a one-to-one basis. So I thought, what can I do for the mums? And actually, if I could support the mums to support their own child, then, you know, that would be just wonderful. So, yeah, started to look at the anxiety from the children's point of view rather than just from the adult's point of view. And yeah, really, it came from the need, I guess. It came from the need that was there.
Wow, a huge service. I mean, there is so much, right? Like you find out that anxiety is actually a huge.
Oh, indeed. I think it's something we all experience. We all experience it at different points in our lives, probably experience it daily in little tiny bits. But yeah, but sometimes it becomes overwhelming. And it's then that we need to look at what to do.
And do you think that there is a lot of shame around it?
Yeah, I think it's misunderstood. Yeah, I think, you know, there are children in particular in schools who are behaving really, really well in school, pretending to be that good little child in school and getting home and it all falls to bits because they don't want to show their anxious thoughts and feelings in school. And they get home and it just all overwhelms them. And they share it in their trusted, safe place at home.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine. It has to be super tough for mom. And it's also why I was very happy to invite you in this in our group because there are a lot of mom also here. And I mean, our angle is different, but I was thinking this is going to be of great service for the women that are in this group because who knows, like it can be that there is someone that really need to listen today to this talk. and really get the wisdom that you are, um, yeah, that you are giving.
Yeah, I mean, I think often behind an anxious child is an anxious parent, because actually, it's hard to contain that anxiety. And when your child is being overwhelmed, a lot of the time it can be in hitting out at their brothers and sisters, it can be swearing, shouting, running it off, it can be all sorts of difficult behavior that then of course adds anxiety to the mum as well. And with their own anxieties and their child's anxieties added on, that's a really tough place to be sometimes, and can be a lonely place to be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I can see what you say. And also it's like it's difficult to regulate, right? Like to
Yes, yeah, and to regulate yourself in order to be able to cope with your child. Yeah, that's
yeah.
really tricky.
As embodiment coach, I was thinking at the end, one of the top thing that you do is like teaching mama to regulate themselves in order to co-regulate with their children, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And at the start of every session we do some grounding work. We do some, let's just think about ourselves, our own bodies. Let's just connect with how we are today. And there's no right or wrong in that, just accepting this is how I am today.
Yeah. A lot of self-care also, right?
A lot of, sorry?
Self-care for mom.
Lots of self-care. Yes. Yeah. Because I guess if we care for our own selves, we can help our children to care for themselves. So yeah, unless we are looking after ourselves and regulating ourselves and bringing our own anxiety down, it's hard for us then to support our child with understanding their anxiety and regulating that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, huge work, right? Like we need more of these in the world because sometimes parents, I mean, parenting is all an experiment, right? An experiment at the end.
Huge experiment, and there's no handbook that could possibly tell you how to do it, because every child is so different. And yeah, and what works today might not work tomorrow, which is the other frustrating thing. You just think you've got it sussed, and then the child changes again.
Like us, right? We are evolving all the time. So thinking
Indeed.
that we're gonna, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we are in September. I'm curious, like, uh, September is a tricky month, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Starting back at school, perhaps changing school, going from primary to secondary, or starting school for the first time.
After
Yeah.
holidays,
Yes.
who wanna go back to school after holidays? No one.
Well, especially in the UK, we're suddenly having a heat wave now, just as the kids go back to school. Yeah.
Ah, so what's the biggest struggle in this period of the year that you see?
I think it's the fact that suddenly everything starts up again. So school starts up, all the school clubs start up. The expectations are always high at this time of the year. The teacher has high expectations for their class because obviously they want to set things up very well. But yeah, I think it's just getting your head around getting back into that routine again. And I guess it's all that journey to school, the going in through the new classroom door, meeting the teacher, perhaps different friends in the class. There's an awful lot
Yes.
to think about.
Yeah. And so, what's your three top tips for mom
For mum,
for this period about taking the anxiety down? What's you suggest?
I think one of them is to prepare themselves. So prepare what you can. So things that you can prepare is perhaps have the favourite breakfast ready for the child in the morning, or know the route that you're taking to school, or have the bag packed ready. Do the things that you can plan and prepare. But then be very much in the moment with your child. So be very much, if they're kicking off one morning, do not go into catastrophizing and thinking my child's kicking off. This is going to be it. They're never going to go to school nicely this year. It's going to be horrendous. Just be in that moment. It's a bad morning. We all have them. That's okay. Tomorrow might be better. And just see that you stick to that moment now. And my third would be have fun. Have a giggle together, have a laugh together, play together, make things playful. So if you can make putting the shoes and coat on in the morning playful, make it playful. If you can make a game out of things, or just be a little bit silly, a bit, distract with silliness, perhaps, when a child is feeling anxious, not putting them down in their anxiety. I think that's very different, but just being playful, fun, having a good time together.
And for adults can be very difficult, be silly.
Yeah, it can, because for some it comes very naturally, but for others not so naturally. So I think it's just trying to see the positives and trying to see, perhaps noticing something out of the door and going, oh, have you just noticed that cat's jumped over there or done whatever? It's just taking the child's mind away from what's causing the anxiety to focusing on something outside of themselves for a moment, because whilst we stay stuck in ourselves, we can remain stuck with those thoughts and feelings churning away.
Yeah. And I can see it because anxiety is all about the future, right?
Yes. Yeah. So staying in this moment now can be really, really powerful. And it's not dismissing the anxiety, because there is a time for sitting with the anxiety too. There is a time for sitting with it, reflecting on it, allowing it to be there. So that, perhaps I'm confusing things now, but I'm saying that, we have to allow anxiety, but not let it overwhelm us. So yes, we're feeling anxiety, but what can I do in this moment to make it feel less huge in my life?
But do you mean for adult, for mom?
For both mum and child. So I think often our thoughts, they say that we have 70% negative thoughts to 30% positive in a day. So if we focus on those negatives, they will just grow and grow and grow. And so I think sometimes we've just got to go, what's the one positive here? What's the one good thing? He won't put his second shoe on, but he's got his first shoe on. That's great. Let's focus on the fact that the first shoe is on.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's what I can learn here instead of complain, right?
Yes.
What is teaching me?
Yes. Yeah.
This is a huge work for adults sometimes too, right? Because complaining is one of the part of people, like just complaining.
It is. Yes. Yeah, that reminds me of a man I met the other day. He was being very, very kind to my mum, who was in her wheelchair, and he brought stuff over to show her in the shop. And he said that if somebody gets bad customer service, they share it so much with so many people. So perhaps 80 people would know of the bad customer service. If they have good customer service, they share it with perhaps 2 people. And it's just a reflection of society that actually, and I think we can do that with our anxious children. If they have a bad morning, we share it and we talk about it and we tell everybody how difficult it is. If we have a good morning, we just go, well, that's what they're supposed to be like. And we don't celebrate that, and we don't tell them how wonderful they are on that good morning.
Yes. Oh my God, so true. Okay, I'm gonna ask you other 2 things. One is like, I'm curious, like how you play, like some playful, like I want to know something about how is your play practice with kids and with mom.
Right. Yeah. Well, in the play therapy room, I have just lots of different toys around, basically. For the older ones, there'll be things like arts and crafts and clay and a sand tray. For the younger ones, there would be all of those, but puppets and role play and all sorts of things, so that people can do what, sorry, that's my typing.
Okay. I was thinking it was mine. I was like, nope.
Don't worry. Yeah, so they can come in and they choose whatever they want to play with, and I am just alongside them in the play.
Okay. So you observe the dynamic.
They ask me to join in, I join in, and we're in it together. And there's lots of problem solving. So there might be something that's happening and we're solving the problems together. And they are working at an unconscious level to solve whatever problems they need to solve. So they're not reworking through any trauma, but they're able to solve those problems. And with an anxious child, we perhaps do, some looking at what the anxiety is. Sorry, that's my dog.
No worries. No, I'm just, it's amazing. I think that we miss so much that pinch of playfulness in our life, right? Like how, like, has pleasure and playfulness and this sensation about, as adult also, being childish.
Yes. I would also say with mums, it doesn't, like, I obviously run quite a long session. It doesn't have to be a long time. It can be, with mums, I talk about head, heart, and hands. And the head is about, can I think what my child might be thinking? And then the heart is, can I feel how my child might be feeling? And then the hands is, do I need to offer them anything? Or do I just need to sit back and observe? Does my child need a cuddle? Do they need space? And so sort of just getting into that, do they need me to sit down and join in the Lego that they're playing with? Do they need me to join in a computer game that they're on? Where can I join in with what they're naturally doing? So rather than trying to say, oh, let's go on this long bike ride for 30 minutes, just go, oh, I notice you're playing with this. Let's just join in alongside you.
And I love it because, like, I see playfulness and pleasure. I work a lot with pleasure. They are all about being, right? You can actually enjoy anything if you are not in the moment, right? So there are really practice to be in the moment. And there are like the antidote to stress.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah. Just noticing something lovely, smiling about it, being with the child in that is just, so special. Just those little tiny connections build to greater connections.
Yeah. I love it. It is so beautiful what you do. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be complicated. I think keeping it simple is the best.
Less is more, and ease also, right? Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. We have the same keywords, Debbie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yes. So let's say more playfulness.
Yes, definitely.
More ease, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a message, like a short message to send to these women and they're gonna watch or watching the live?
I would say, if you are feeling anxious, or if your child is feeling anxious, you are not alone. There are so many other mums, women out there feeling this. I am starting a membership group for those mums, and it's the mums who've joined so far. Oh, it's just lovely. It's just the mums I've worked with so far. It's a new membership group, but the mums I've worked with so far, it's so lovely when they go, oh gosh, it's great that other people are feeling this too. It's not just me. It's not just me with my child. So yeah, that's really special in that. And we will have, people coming on and talking to us specifically about working with your children and their anxiety. So yeah, my message is, you're not alone. There's other mums like this, and connect with others, because the minute it's like when we did our group, Julie, back in with Erica in the lockdown, finding out that we weren't alone in lockdown, being with other women and sharing and going, these are my thoughts, these are my fears, these are my anxieties, was just made me feel so much better, so much stronger. So yeah, I think connect with others.
Yeah, and you are not alone. I think that is a so much important message these days. Like we are not alone dealing like with difficult things in life. We all struggle, but if we struggle together, we
Yeah,
can actually support each other.
we
This is
definitely
what
can.
we need. Like human, we can do
Oh,
everything by ourselves, right? Like it's impossible. This is a mission impossible. We need to do sustainable, right?
yes.
And sustainable is supportive. Yeah.
Yeah, and even just talking something through for 10
God,
minutes with somebody who's just listening really well to you helps so much.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Debbie, for
Well,
being
thank you
with
for
us
having me.
today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
And I will ask you to drop into the comment below all your links so that
I
all
will.
the everyone will have access to your Facebook group, website, and if you have a link for the new membership you are launching, please.
I will. It's not quite ready yet, but I will link that very soon. It'll be there very soon.
Yes, and anyways, we are like go and embrace Debbie group, and I mean she's also in the break the burnout cycle, so we are all intertwined and connected and in a
Yeah.
beautiful networks to support women.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, I will put the link into the membership as soon as it is ready, which shouldn't be too long now.
Good
Yeah.
luck with everything.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. That's really good.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
And thanks for being here. And see you next Monday.
Take care.
Bye.